Who would have thought that inviting a group of people to eat together would be like the most countercultural, radical thing you could do?
Yeah.
But it is. Look if you don't think you're lovable, you're not going to connect. Like that could be a whole episode.
Yeah.
There is no connection. If you're showing up feeling that you're unloved or believing you're unloved, you're not enough, there will be no connection. Just the beauty of asking a question.
Ugh, yes.
If you want to make someone feel loved, ask them a question.
Seriously.
Straight
a
up.
very simple question.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. It's so simple, and yet nobody does it.
Right.
Very few people ask questions.
And why do you think that is?
Hey guys, welcome back to Something More Human, the show where we talk about human connection in the digital age. I'm Sam.
And I'm Elliot.
So Tim, you just hosted a mile-long table, which all in its own right is absolutely insane. But something that actually stands out to us when we think about you and our interactions with you is not that. We sat with you one time and you talked to us about there are actually a lot of people, like all of us in this room, who are in the connection and belonging sphere.
Right.
And many of those people are lonely. And we're lonely in that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you told us about just sitting with your friends that are in this work and just your friends in life and asking them point blank, are you lonely?
Right.
Are you lonely in your life? Are you lonely in this work? And that is a question I think we do not ask our friends, our colleagues, and the people in this space.
Right.
What inspired you to have that very serious question with people who maybe their job is connection?
Oh man, I mean, it's the irony of ironies that the connection people are, and I feel like that's our culture in so many ways is, we're going to hang our tile, our roof tile, our sign, we're going to open up shop and do this thing. But we are so seated and we can't get out of this individualistic culture.
Yeah.
Even though we long for these things, even the belongers and the connectors are struggling to be connected. So that's one thing. The other thing is there's no money in it. I hate to say that.
That's real.
But until society starts seeing the value in the work that we are doing, in creating places of connection and belonging, it is so hard to make a living in this.
Yeah.
Much less have a team to do it.
Yeah.
So if anyone should be doing this in community with a team, it is the people like us.
Yeah.
Like that are at the front of the war here with our flags, but the burnout, the loneliness, the isolation, the need to have a job,
Yeah.
is a real threat to this work.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fascinating that you say that because we actually had a mentor as we were thinking about the growth of the show, about ways to fund it. He basically told us, what you guys do is awesome, but you're not really selling controversy.
Right.
And controversy
Right.
is really what reaches and grows.
Exactly.
And we were like, well, should we be more controversial? What's the solution to that?
I'm trying to think about how we could make a table sexier.
Right.
Tables are just not, they're kind of square.
Yeah.
In all forms. But how do we, and that maybe that's a sad reality of our short attention spans and our addiction to drama. But this is $1 million question. We know if you could monetize helping people feel less lonely and more connected, it is the fundamental human need.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just know it. We are social creatures. That is, we're always talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety, shelter, all of that. But that sense of belonging is right after that. As soon as you got a roof over your head, you're thinking about how can I be in meaningful community and relationship? How do I feel seen? How do I feel loved? And how ironic that greatest need of humanity, we can't figure out how to serve it.
Yeah.
So where we're approaching this is we need our sages. We need our elders. We need our prophets, if you will, the people like raising the flag of like isolation could be the end of our country.
Yeah.
Like this could, if you could take it far enough, moves into the separation, moves so far down the road that it's war and the collapse, right, of society. Because if you don't have trust, if you don't have relationship, what are we going to do?
Right.
Like, what are we going to build on? We like to say, hey, leaders set tables. So it's not the professionals that do the work. Like, I'm starting to see us as the facilitators,
Right.
as the people inviting leaders into doing the connection and belonging work. Because if we only rise to the level of our leaders, there's leaders everywhere. So leaders set the standard. Leaders set the culture, maintain the culture, create the culture. So if we can start helping leaders lead out of not fear, but
Yeah.
out of wholeness, out of vulnerability, all of the cocktail that creates connection, meaningful connection, that's when we're going to start changing things. So this whole idea of like professionalizing, it's kind of an odd thing to think about.
You're kind of already going there, but the number one question that I have for you
Yeah.
thinking about this conversation is for people listening, whether they want to have a birthday party or a block party or they have no idea who their neighbors are.
Yeah.
What is something that people really need to know about setting a table?
Oh my gosh.
No pressure.
Just do it. So I haven't listened to your podcast episode on like making that first step of showing up. But we've heard that throughout our lives. I
Yeah.
don't know. Have you heard this? Like, what is it? 95% of life is just showing up.
Yeah.
Right. So if we want the connection, and this kind of goes back to leadership, like all you have to do is go knock on the door. People are so starved for connection.
Yeah.
I've seen this in neighborhood after neighborhood. It just takes one person to go start knocking on doors,
Right.
and 95% of those neighbors will show up at the table.
In preparing for this episode at work today, I was thinking of this phrase that kept popping into my mind, which is your life, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. And what I thought was fascinating about the event, about longer tables, which for those of you listening, almost I think 4,000 people showed up to this event on Aurora campus in Denver.
Yeah.
And there was a miles long worth, how do I say that? There was
A mile long table.
I get, yeah, sure. There was a mile long table, essentially, yes. And out of all of the logistics and all of the planning that you guys must have gone through, that must have taken, like you said, a year. You're already planning for next year.
Yeah.
The most important thing, and the thing for me that made the event, was simply the host at each table who had a set of questions
Right.
for the people at that table. I wasn't expecting that. And to be quite honest with you, the event itself, like just seeing the sheer volume and the size and the sponsors that you're able to secure, that in and of itself is great. But I wouldn't have had as nearly good of a time if there were not those hosts at each table to facilitate very simple questions like, who are you, without describing what you do for work. And so that keeps popping in my mind. You're saying just do it. And it really, to me, is about like, you're asking him, I know that, you're asking him, how do you set a table? But I think it's really about just a very few simple set of questions that you can ask people that they haven't been asked maybe ever or in a really long time. I couldn't remember the last time somebody asked me, which they asked me at the event, which was, who are you?
Right.
And somebody across from us that we met, I don't remember his name, and he was like, I don't know.
His
like,
name was Caesar.
Without talking about work.
He couldn't.
Who are
he
you?
couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
He couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it.
He just got stuck.
And you could tell that he was like, okay, like I'm gonna go home and think about this.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
that was,
which is incredible.
yeah, that was
It's beautiful.
It was incredible. And it's just, I keep going back to this, like thinking about this massive event and all the money that was spent and all the time and energy that was spent and all of these things that went into it that you guys did to make it happen for 4,000 people in Denver. And it was just that really small thing that made it for me.
Right.
And I guess I'm wondering, were you guys in a room? Like, who came up with those questions? Who was it? Was it a group of people? Was it everybody? Like,
So those questions were drawn from 11 years of setting tables. And so it's pretty simple, but we now understand how to ask questions that elicit more of the deeper identity of somebody. So oftentimes we're asking people to go back to childhood before all of the judgments got layered up, all of the fear, the trauma, the broken heart, all the junk of life that surely,
Yeah.
creates this half person, half shadowed person that most of us are showing up in life because of woundedness and trauma. So what do you have to do to set the table? I mean, we do kind of 8 things. I won't go into all 8 things, but they're really simple. So it's really invitation, inviting people. I like to say invitation is the beginning of belonging, right? Because I see you. Sam, I would like for you to be my guest at this table over at my house.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. Because in our world, no one's inviting.
Yeah.
Like, that's a generalization. But to be invited to something is absolutely beautiful. To just say, hey, I'm not going to set a perfect thing. It's not going to be fancy, but I'm going to put a table outside in my front yard. I'm going to take the risk to invite people. We can come back to that. The scary part of all of this is rejection. So taking the risk, inviting people, inviting them to bring food. We didn't do this at the Mile Long because we didn't want 5,000 dishes of casserole, which would be amazing. But we had it catered. But typically we love potluck because we ask people to bring a dish, grandma's dish, or a dish that they love, which is part of feeling seen.
Right.
Okay, so that's how you get the food. And then we basically have 3 rules of every table. Number 1, there's no talk about work. There's no job titles. This is probably the most powerful thing we do at the table, to create a safe place for us to be seen for not what we do, but who we are.
Yeah.
So if we were in Europe or the Middle East or Asia, we wouldn't even need this rule because they never lead with that. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's more about family, right? That identifies you, maybe the neighborhood where you grew up. So in America, I think we all understand this. We identify ourselves by what we do.
Right.
And you are not what you do.
Right. Say that again, Tim.
You are not your job. You
Yeah.
are not what you do. So when and there's a strategy behind asking people what they do, because we're figuring out where we are in the capitalistic framework of how our world works.
Absolutely.
So is this someone that I can benefit from? Is this, do I need to respect them because they're high on the social ladder because of their job? So when we get rid of that, all that's left is just a bunch of human beings.
Right.
So especially not even judging other people, but judging ourselves. Like, I'm just a nonprofit leader.
Right.
Which carries shame, because in our culture, being a nonprofit leader isn't like the most high valued thing in our world. So,
because we're really asking, like, how much money do you make?
Well, and we're gauging, what are we gauging? We're gauging safety. I think at the end of the day here's a quick story. One of my favorite stories, we had a table a couple of years ago, and we had a Caucasian white state senator, middle-aged, sit next to a Latina grandma, who I'm still not sure if she's legal or not. They sat right next to each other, and we shared the rules. No job talk, no job titles. Could you imagine how she would have hid her true self?
Right.
If she would have known he was a state senator? Like, he would have got 2%. And like, what a way to cheat each other out of experiencing each other. But because they didn't know what each other did, I have this memory of looking over at them several times, just laughing, belly laughs.
Amazing.
And they delighted in each other. And that's the point.
Right.
Like, we just eliminate all of the stuff that carries. So that's not number 1 rule. No job talk, no job titles. Number 2, we are inviting just the real you. We want to experience the true you tonight. So if you're in a hard place, you're welcome to be in that place. And that might sound a little woo or for but it's beautiful. I've seen people tear up when we say that. Number 3, you're not sitting next to people you know. You can sit next to them any time of the. But the point is, we're meeting people unlike ourselves. So that's it. And because we're not talking about work or job titles, we have questions at the table because we need a little help. Because we're not. Well, I wasn't raised to ask meaningful questions of people. I was never modeled that. Except for my grandma, but society never teaches us how to ask meaningful questions of other. It's always me, myself, I. I'm really positive about our world, but it may not sound like it at points. But so that those questions, they're very simple, but they're beautiful. So share about a memorable meal from your childhood. Like that's probably my favorite question.
Oh, that's a tough one. I couldn't even.
I'm trying to think of what you said. You had
Have I answered that before? Did I answer that at the? Was that one of the questions?
It was on the.
but you had a very similar moment like 2 days ago with the taste of something that brought you back. Do you want to share that story?
Yeah, I had I work at a coffee shop, and my friend Brian, who is the roaster, and he makes all of the specialty seasonal syrups. He brought in a syrup that he was testing for the new menu, and it was like an apple pie syrup.
Ooh.
And I tasted it, and immediately tears came into my eyes. And I was like, I don't know why. It's just flavor. It's a syrup. And I just realized that it took me back to my childhood, not a specific moment, but like my entire childhood was laying out in front of me from tasting this syrup that my friend made. And I was tearing up about it, and I was like, this is so weird and dramatic, but like this is happening. And now it's making me think of like just childhood dinners. Like I really did have a great childhood. And for a while when we first got the house, we didn't have a table to sit at. I don't know why, but we had like a breakfast nook. We sat like this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't remember a specific moment, but so many moments added up of us just my parents were very religious. We were very religious growing up, and we all held hands together before we prayed.
Yeah.
And I always remember my sisters like grabbing my hands or pinching me or making sure that my eyes were closed, even though their eyes were open. Right. And those are just like really fond memories. I don't really remember what the food was. Maybe it was like chicken fingers and Kraft mac and cheese, but that comes to mind. And those are really wholesome memories,
Yeah.
So what was the apple pie?
Well, the apple pie was just a syrup.
Okay.
That
But
let
what
me
was it
try.
connecting to? What did you have apple pie as a kid?
I think what it tastes like, actually, it tastes like a better version of those caramel apple lollipops.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's the green,
the green
caramel.
Yeah, they're delicious.
And the more that I think about it, the more I realize I'm so grateful to have had such a good childhood. There were definitely some things that weren't so good about it, but mostly my parents did a really good job and protected me and provided for me and sacrificed so much for me. And so I have so many memories of, maybe it is that lollipop, having it in so many moments in like elementary, middle school, and thinking about Halloween and how many great Halloweens that I was privileged to have
And
as
you
a
love
child.
You love
and I also
pie.
do love apple pie. It didn't taste so much like apple pie, but really like that candy in the very best way. And I can't remember the last time food made me ever do that. I have a very strong like connection to scent and smells and tastes, but I've never had a taste like that where immediately I couldn't control it. It just happened. Like right away, I just teared up, and I think he was a little bit maybe confused, like what's going on, but it just happened. I couldn't control it.
Oh, I love this so much.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like this might sound weird, but did that taste make you feel loved?
Oh yeah. Like I'm saying, I realize I'm definitely a complainer of the two. Sam is a optimist and I'm a realist, maybe a pessimist. And so I can always find something to complain about. And I just realized there are so many people on earth that would have died to have the childhood that I had.
Right.
And so, yeah, it just reminded me of, I should be grateful for, I should call my parents more, I should be more grateful for the life that I have and that I had, because it was, for all intents and purposes, it was great. Like it really was, I can think of plenty of things that went wrong, but that's life. Life isn't perfect.
Right.
But yeah, it reminded me of, I think it's exactly what it is. It was love. It reminded me of love. Of such a wholesome
That's right.
childhood.
That's right.
That I really enjoy, that I miss, you know?
So this is, I want to just capture this real quick, because this is the nuclear power of a table, is when we ask questions like that, we're going back to a place where, okay, not all of us had healthy childhoods. So that question can actually be dangerous for some people.
Sure.
It's going to bring up trauma. And that's another conversation that we could talk about. But for most of us, before the judgments piled up, before the labels, before these messages where we started believing, hello, 7th grade, I'm not enough.
Sure.
I'm not good enough. I don't have the right body. I'm not popular enough. I'm not likable. I mean, the list goes on. So for most people, if we can get them back to that childhood moment, that there was this purity, there was this sense of wholeness. There wasn't this self-reflection. It was play, man.
Yeah.
It was enjoyment without caring what people thought. So like, if we can get people back to that, and I realized after about 5 years of setting tables, this is what we're doing.
Right.
So we're taking back people to this moment without judgment, without performance, which is what all of our world is about.
Yeah.
It's about self-protection, self-promotion. And if we can get them, we're going to not only help them get back in touch and connection with their heart and with themselves, but as we do that in community, it makes this unbelievable connection with across the table.
Right.
When we're doing it together. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, that's nuclear. That is nuclear, because where else in our world, in our society, are you going to set people back to their childhood table and be able to invite them to share those stories? And then as I share my story, we're like, oh my gosh, my grandma did this.
Right.
Like I remember fried chicken. And this sense of emotion comes up. And when I think about my grandma's table, man, I was so fully loved and seen and valued. And look, if you don't think you're lovable, you're not going to connect. Like that could be a whole episode.
Yeah.
There is no connection. If you're showing up feeling that you're unloved or believing you're unloved, you're not enough, there will be no connection.
Well, what do you do for the folks that didn't have the childhood that I had, that never felt loved? And so now, since they never felt it, they probably think, oh, it's impossible for me to be loved because I never was. So that must mean that I'm not deserving of it. Like what do you do?
I mean, that it's a hard question. It's going to be different for every individual. But I think the witness of people sitting around a table, looking at that person, saying, I care about your story. That is a baby step of love for that person, that we are holding space for that person. And then the reaction isn't like, oh, you weirdo.
Right.
And someone else at the table's probably had a similar experience, if people are going to be honest about it. But the reaction is, that's not weird. Like, we're still in relationship with you. Like, tell me more. One of the most beautiful, I think you were like, hinting toward this, but like just the beauty of asking a question.
Ugh, yes.
If you want to make someone feel loved, ask them a question.
Seriously.
Straight
a
up.
very simple question.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. It's so simple, and yet nobody does it.
Right.
Very few people ask questions.
And why do you think that is?
We weren't trained. We weren't modeled. I mean, in my experience, that is the optimistic side. The critical side of it is we don't care. We don't care what's going on with other people because we're hurting so much and we're in such a survival mode that I can't carry your stuff because we have been told it's about me, myself, and I.
Right.
This is the adventure of Tim Jones.
Yeah.
And I'm the hero of the story. What do you what do you guys
There's so
think?
much.
I don't know.
Well, there's so much irony in that, right? It's like, well, everything that you're saying, I believe to be true. It's like, oh, we're in survival mode, and I've thought about that in our relationship. When we're not doing well, it's usually that I'm wrapped up in my head,
Yeah.
and I'm too
Right.
self-involved for me
Right.
to even give two shits about what Sam's got going
That's right.
on, right? And
That's
so,
right.
But you kind of shoot yourself in the foot by doing that because you're saying that when we're in survival mode, and it's not maybe that we don't care so much, it's that we care so much about ourselves that we don't realize that if we ask the question, it would probably be reciprocated, and I think that void would be filled little by little. And because we don't ask a question, we think that we'll, I don't know, save energy for caring about ourselves, but not realizing that we'd feel better if we did ask a question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it would give
Yeah.
the other person the opportunity to answer and probably ask you back, you know?
Asking questions is so big. And it sounds so easy. Like the things that you're saying, and even you, Elliot, like this one small thing at the mile-long table, it sounds small and it sounds easy. But without it,
Yeah.
we have no foundation to stand on and to build from. And so sending that invitation, taking the risk,
Yep.
it's okay to have questions prepped. If you're
Yes.
feeling
Yes.
like that muscle of curiosity is not as robust as
Right.
like riffing in the moment,
Right.
it's okay.
Right. I mean, this is so rich. Let me say this. We've been talking about this, but it makes it really difficult to care for others if you don't care for yourself. I've been thinking about this a lot. Like if you don't, this is hilarious. My dating life. Talk about comedy. Hilarious.
Tell us more.
Let's get into that, Tim. Tim's dating history.
I think that people would love that.
The story of Tim. No, that's
If you're in Denver and you're
it's
single,
tragedy. Actually, no. I'm in a relationship right now.
Oh, that's great.
Okay,
So,
disregard.
yeah. But you know, people always told me this, like, you can't love until you love yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Is that true? I don't know.
I think it is.
I'm fascinated to hear you say that.
Well, keep going.
You know, I'm still kind of stumped by it. But I think
Wait, really quick. Do you love yourself?
I'm getting there.
Good question.
Thank you for asking that. Until I see, I don't quite believe this yet, but until I see and embrace my inherent value and belovedness, why would I ever do that for somebody else? Now, there's a flip side of like, I can love you all day long and still think I'm a piece of whatever. But I don't think it works. There is no authentic connection. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I do not think there is going to be capacity to care for somebody else in an authentic, deep way unless you know what it is. Because if you don't think you're of value, like then what are you offering the other person in a relationship?
Right.
There's nothing to offer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Totally.
I'm firmly on the side of the coin, which is by first loving yourself and appreciating yourself and stepping into your confidence, you are showing up better, you are offering better, you are supporting better.
Yeah.
And so it's totally possible to be in a relationship and to love other people if you don't feel that way about yourself. And it's limited. The ceiling is finite and definable.
Yeah.
Versus when you're able to really feel limitless love for yourself, you can pass it out to everyone because your heart is not a finite container that you just piece out like a pie.
Yes. Yeah. One of my mentors, heroes, they often say, you can't give away what you don't have. Whether it's a social, emotional skill, like asking questions, or love for yourself. How am I going to convince you of your belovedness if I don't love myself?
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what's so detrimental about social media is that, and I think that's had such a large part to play in my relationships with myself and with other people is I do believe that now. I don't think I believed that maybe 5 years ago. I thought like, oh, I definitely don't love myself, but I know that I am capable of loving because I love my mom and I love my dad and I love my sister.
Right.
Like, so can I love romantically? Well, yeah, I can. Like, I don't need to love myself to do that. But more and more that as time goes by, I realize I don't know if it's like a chicken or the egg thing because I almost believe it's more, well, I guess it's going back to the same thing. It's like, how do I explain this? I'm so critical of humanity because of social media. Social media, it's all about emotions, right? It's like it's the attention economy, right? And so the way to keep your attention is to keep you engaged emotionally. Usually, like we're talking, that's negatively.
Controversy.
Negatively, right? So like you're constantly criticizing the things that you're looking at, the people that you're looking at, right? People that are different from you, people have different viewpoints than you do and ideologies. And so I find it much easier for me to quite literally have hate in my heart for people I don't even know. And I think in turn, because I believe in karma, because I believe that you get what you reflect, right? You get what you give. And so because I'm giving this negative energy to people I've never met before, I get it back. It just comes back to me.
Right.
And so I'm more critical of myself,
Right.
which means that I'm more critical of Sam.
right.
And I'm more
That's right.
critical of you. And I'm more critical of Venus. And that is 100% the truth. It's like, I don't believe that I can love Sam and not love myself. And I certainly can't love myself if I can't love humanity.
Right. Right.
You know?
Brene Brown has this really fascinating concept, which is we will all on an individual level have elevated life satisfaction if by default we assume that other people are doing their best. Even if they're messing up, even if they're not doing what your expectations of them are, by just assuming that other people are doing their best, you are able to accept life the way that it is. And if you yourself are not doing your best, why would you think that other people are?
Right.
And I think it goes back to this chicken or the egg thing. Like, I know I am always just doing my best, and sometimes I am missing the mark.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for me to be like, oh man, like you were a few minutes late. It's totally fine. It's not a big deal. When I'm a few minutes late, I'm mortified,
Right.
you know? And so I think it definitely goes back to this. How do I feel about myself? What are my expectations of myself and my confidence and love for myself? And how does that show up, consciously or unconsciously, in the ways that I assume other people's intentions?
Yep. Yeah, that's very interesting. This is where my brain goes is, can you belong to other people if you don't belong to yourself? Right? I feel like that's reflected in the energy and our judgments of other people. It just seems the way we see ourselves is often how we see others.
Can I answer this?
Yes, please.
I think that the short answer is yes. And the long answer is my exact same answer for the capacity to love yourself, which is it's possible in a very finite way.
Right.
Back to this thing about invitation. You can be loved and supported by another group and engulfed in a community without loving yourself. But if you are not seeing other people's best intentions, if you are not sharing that love, if you are not inviting
the posture of openness, acceptance,
then after a certain point, at a very finite boundary line, you'll stop being invited.
That's right.
You know?
There will be a drift. There will be some sort of separation.
Yeah. Can we talk about risk? The risk of inviting people,
Yeah.
the feeling of rejection.
Yep.
I think we're in a place as a culture where the feeling of rejection outweighs, for most people, like cognitively, the pleasure and joy of overcoming that and someone accepting the invitation.
Sure. Risk reward.
Yeah.
Totally.
Which is something that we systematically underestimate.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with like, okay, I'm going to knock on my neighbor's door. Even things like, I'm going to say good morning. I walk the dog every morning. And sometimes I get in my head like, would it kill people to just say good morning back to me?
Yep.
And then I'm like, okay, maybe they're not used to people saying good morning.
Right.
So if in 2 days I see them again and I say good morning, perhaps their muscle will be just a little bit stronger and they might say it back.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think back. So the last neighborhood I lived in, I lived 3 years. So this will be a public confession. I knew none of my neighbors. I did not meet any of my neighbors in 3 years. And I'm Mr. Longer Table guy, neighboring guy.
Wow.
And that's interesting. So let's talk about that, Tim. Let's reflect on what's going on there. And finally, because we were doing our neighboring campaign called Table Together, I'm like, Tim, you have to force yourself to go knock on doors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
Resistance all day long. And here, for me, this is what I discovered, is the fear of rejection. Okay, so none of us like to be rejected, but what's under that? What is under that? So I started knocking on doors, and 90% of the people who answered the door were so enthusiastic. And the minute they heard what I was doing, I'm like, hey, I live down at that house on the corner. I'm Tim. Sorry, I haven't introduced myself, but we're doing this table outside in a couple weeks. Would love for you to be there. As soon as I got that out, Smile, rest, relax.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in. Tell me, what do we bring? All that stuff.
That's so sick.
And then I got to the one house, and this older lady, it took her a minute to answer the door, but she flung the door open. She's like, "What do you want?" Like, that's how I was greeted.
Just thought you were a solicitor, probably.
Totally. And she was cooking dinner, ironically, as I was going to invite her to dinner. And, you know, I tried to get my thing out, and she's like, "Well, come back later and tell me about it." And she didn't end up coming. But I think the fear of rejection tells me that fundamentally I am not worth showing up for. It was my idea. I initiated. And if if anyone rejects it, doesn't show up, or at worst criticizes it, which we've had people criticize what we do.
Sure.
Not a lot, a few. What does that say about me? What does that say about me? If someone says no, what if I'm not good enough? And I don't think we're all potentially consciously thinking that.
Sure.
But I think I've seen this in myself enough that if I'm rejected, it may confirm my deepest fear as a human being, that I am not worthy of relationship. And that's obviously not true based on one person's response. It could be any reason why they're not showing up.
Right.
Let's just take dating. There's about 10 million reasons not to date someone. It doesn't mean you're not a good person. It could be one of 10,000 things.
Right.
That just isn't a good match. But we tend to take it personally.
Right.
Of like, oh my gosh, I'm just not worthy of being in a relationship. That's what I did for years by one person saying, no, I don't see it. I don't feel the match. So as inane as this sounds of like inviting people to dinner, no one does it.
Right.
Because of, I think, what we fear it will say about us. What do you guys think?
I have so many thoughts.
Do you?
I'm thinking about literally how fucking stupid it is
What are you about to say?
of why we haven't invited people over. Of all
Tell me more
about
why we haven't invited more people
of all
over.
people.
Yeah. Tell me.
I'm the biggest poser, right? It's like we have this podcast and we're talking about connection, and
I'm with you.
I'm like, oh, my apartment just doesn't look the way that I want it to. I don't want people coming over because my apartment doesn't look the way that I want it to, and I think that I'm going to be judged for the way that my apartment looks, and so I'd rather not have my friends over to my house, my friends who love me and accept me for who I am,
Right.
because somehow I might think that they will judge me for the apartment that I have, which is very nice. Like, but it's just like, oh, there's certain things I'm just not happy with. So like, I would rather not have them over. And that is literally the answer. That is the reason that you and I, well, that's one of the reasons. Maybe, I don't know if it's all on me. Maybe it is, but like, we don't have people over Sam has friends over every now and then for like a pizza party.
I do two things. I host a book club and I have girls' night pizza
Nice.
party where I make sourdough pizza dough and we make pizza.
What?
But the last time we
adorable.
had friends over together was Thanksgiving last year.
Well, yeah, hold on. Speak for yourself because I
am
do,
speaking for myself.
Yeah. I host like multiple times a month people over.
You do.
But we together do not as a result of this mental blocker.
About this block. So what is the fear? What is the deeper fear?
Judgment.
Of what?
I have no idea. Judgment that I don't even know. It's like I think I'm just so critical. Like we had some friends over. We had two friends over. We had a couple over, and that was maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
Then I'm looking at them the whole time. Like I'm like kind of like catching glimpses to like see what they're looking at, and like I'm projecting onto them that they're looking at our apartment like, oh, I'm gonna be super honest right now. This is insane. Oh, our picture frames have sat. You know, we bought a bunch of frames, but there's only 2 that are actually filled with pictures of us. The top 3 are how we bought them at the vintage store. And I'm like, that is literally a reason for me not inviting people over.
I love
how
honest
insane
you're
is that?
I love how honest you're, but
That's
you're not
insane.
alone in that.
Right.
We all do that.
Like, who gives a shit,
We
dude?
all do that.
It's crazy.
I worry about like the toilet
Yeah.
of like, is it clean enough?
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah.
I mean, I worry about, I'm mid-40s dude and I've got a roommate and I feel shame about that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to invite people over. Right? I think it always at the end of the day is the fear of losing respect and acceptance.
Totally.
I think this goes back, you guys, to this idea of if you feel like you're enough for yourself,
Right.
which is love and
Yes.
confidence,
Yep.
then these things which sound when you say them out loud trivial, but are actually so meaningful to you that they are preventing you from other social interaction and
Right.
meaningful connection.
Right.
And so if you felt like I am doing my best with this space and other people are doing the best with their space, whoever we invite over will assume that we're doing the best with the space that we have. I'm not going to be so worried about inviting them over.
Right. Well, I'm just trying to wonder, like, what in my right mind, my wrong mind, would I believe that my friends of all people, like, I could see why I would feel that way about a potential friend or an acquaintance, right?
Sure.
But like to have a friend that's been so unwavering in their support and
Right.
love of all people, why would you think that they would judge you to the point that you would just rather not have them over? And that's such a small thing. So it's like, how do I get over it? Well, I think conversations like these definitely how I can get some
Right.
perspective and like
Right.
it doesn't two things. Either it doesn't matter, invite them, or dude, maybe set some money aside and do something about the frames. Like maybe take pride in letting people know that you're a photographer and that you have some great work.
Right.
And no one knows
Right.
about it because it's nowhere in your house. So like maybe you should
Elliot
put
did
it
take
up.
that photo.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's like,
Oh my gosh.
you know, maybe
man.
pick one of those and do it, or maybe just shut up.
This comes,
know?
for me, this distills down to curiosity. We're talking a lot and often on the show talk about curiosity with other people, building the muscle of asking questions.
Yeah.
But sometimes it comes down to curiosity about yourself. Okay, we love hosting. We want to host more people and we don't. Why don't we?
Right.
What am I feeling when
Right.
it comes to, what is that
That's right.
resistance?
That's right.
When I want to knock on my neighbor's door,
Right.
but I actually don't. Why? What is preventing me? And really sitting with the question for yourself
Yeah. That's right.
is something we don't do.
Absolutely. The curiosity of just taking that step of, why do I do what I do? And examine my desires. Like, we all want to be loved. We all want to be in relationship. But yet we're in these apartment buildings. Like, we are surrounded by human beings.
Yes.
But what is the threat? What are we so scared of to invite someone to walk through our door into our living?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Also, like for me, the essence of this show and the essence of the human experience is simply to see and be seen in the world.
Yeah.
And so when you extend an invitation to someone,
Yeah.
you are showing them that you see them.
Right.
Tim, I see you and I'd love to spend more time with
Right.
you.
Right.
And when someone accepts the invitation, they're saying, hey, I'd like that too.
Yeah.
And I think that reward is worth the risk of them saying, oh, shoot, man, I worked late that night. I can't make it.
Yep. And I would say 9 out of 10 times the rejection will never come.
Right. Right.
It's just fear.
Yeah.
It's just fear. So back to the table as a means and a vehicle to do connection, like we just believe it's the most powerful place to do what we're talking about. And yes, inviting people into your home, that's a big deal. We just don't do that socially, like in our society. This is our private domain.
Right.
So in our world, we're siloed everywhere, right? We live in silos, racial silos, class silos, vocational silos. Our world is full of silos. So we've kind of privatized our worlds. And that's a natural thing in our individualistic culture, is to privatize our space, right? People in third world countries don't have the option to privatize their space. They have to share resources. So these silos are how we survive. So the table brings down those barriers because everyone has to eat. Everyone has to, it's home for all of us. So we think that is the most powerful place because everyone relates to that place as home, and it's non-threatening. It's something to do while you're connecting with people.
I mean, Elliot, think of it this way. We do it in part because it's, logistically more easy. But part of the essence of the show is we don't do remote interviews. When people want to come on the show, I say you have to be in Denver.
Yes.
You can fly here.
Yeah.
But we put Ben Higgins on our couch. We had Dan Harris and his son on our couch. Like, we invite people into our living room.
Right.
Because it's more than the conversation we have on the mic. It's also greeting you and, you know, shooting the shit beforehand.
The glass of wine.
After, yeah, you know, like, what's up with your day? You're not doing that on a Zoom call.
Right.
You can. It's more challenging.
That's right. Absolutely.
You said that you use the word we. You said we privatized our, you know, these segments of our life at home and our personal lives and our professional lives. Mm-hmm. Do you think? I guess maybe I'll leave it at that. What do you mean by we? Like did we privatize our lives, or were our lives privatized for us without our consent?
Yeah, I think it's the juice that we grew up in of what America was founded on. It was, here's your 40 acres, develop it, put up your fence, and focus and dedicate yourself to your dream, right? This manifest destiny, this idea that you can build the life that you want. Mm-hmm. So there was very little sense of collaboration or cooperation, and we could invite an expert to tell us more about that. Mm-hmm. But everything stems from this capitalistic system that often just is fed by the fear of what the other is doing from a sense of competition. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So then, because we're in competition, it creates separation. So it becomes an us versus them world. Mm-hmm. So if that's how business works, and we glorify that, we celebrate competition, right? Especially in business.
Right.
We believe that, hey, competition actually creates life. Mm-hmm. Competition, that battle actually helps business flourish. The problem is that doesn't work with relationships or actually society.
And we're seeing that very clearly now. Yeah,
that's right. And now we're at the end of this journey where we're realizing, oh man, the thing that I bought into, it's that whole thing where you get up at the top of the ladder and realize that the ladder was set against the wrong wall. Mm. And you're like, and I think many of us, the older generation, well, my generation, the generations after the boomers are looking down from the top of the ladder. The boomers are like, and nothing against boomers, but are often like, they're still looking for the top of the ladder. And now they're looking for legacy of like, what legacy am I living? While Gen X is like, we were sold a bill of lies. Mm. And there's this emptiness, and we climb that ladder and we're all alone. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I may have things, I may have my house and some stocks, but man, I am all alone. And so like your generation and the coming generations, like I don't see an emphasis on wealth, on material wealth. It's experience, it's connection, because that's what we were made for.
Well, is this bowling alone, or is this something else that I'm thinking of? What is not the anxious generation, but it's
join or die?
Maybe.
Say more. The privatization. No. It's Derek Thompson about the antisocial century talked about the advent of the car, the advent of the home television set
that creates. Mm-hmm. I love thinking about the air conditioner.
Oh,
that people used to cool down by going to their front porches.
Yeah,
and then the AC came. And now we're inside the house.
Oh, that's fascinating to think about.
And then garages start getting built on the backside of homes, and alleys in urban settings were created. And now you don't even have to see your neighbors to get into your house.
Right.
So there's the whole technology thing. And this privatization is driven by so many things, but it's driven by like comfort.
Yeah.
Right. And optimization of and surplus of wealth and materialism, which all of those things create social separation. It separates us from other people. If you, David Brooks just wrote an article in the New York Times charting thriving, which is part of happiness, right? But thriving and flourishing. And he cuts to the chase and says, greed is the problem. Greed is what separates. It's the race, right? To the top of the wrong ladder.
Right.
And we get to that ladder and realize we don't have a lot of friends. So this is, Elliot, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, I think you are.
But our society has been built on this myth. This myth that at the end of the day doesn't even come close to delivering what it promised.
Yeah. That's
a thriving life.
The image of the ladder on the wrong wall is so good. I've never heard that. And I think that it comes back to the idea that a high tide raises all boats, and many people don't think that. And so what about the idea of iron sharpening iron? What about the idea, well, we both do work in connection and belonging, and that doesn't mean that we cannibalize each other. That means that we can lift each other up. We can challenge each other to think deeply. We can be the accountability partner to say, go knock on your neighbor's door.
Right.
Like, we need people to say, hey, you're talking the talk, but are you walking it? And what does it look like? And how does it feel? And how can we be there to challenge each other to go out and do those things?
Well, this is the sad part of this, is this epidemic of isolation and loneliness. New York Times, again, writes on this. The Atlantic writes on this. A lot of people are writing on this. We know the solution to this. It's as easy as inviting someone over for dinner.
Yeah.
Or inviting a coworker to coffee. It's that easy. It's that close, but we're not willing to do it.
I think, sometimes I think that people, including me, think it's almost like there's like so many things going through my mind. It's almost like that seems like too simple of a solution.
Yeah.
So we totally avoid doing it because it can't be that easy. Like all the problems, all the solutions to all of my problems cannot be as easy as inviting somebody over for dinner. And it's like, actually, maybe not every solution, but like the major ones or the major problems. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of what I feel like sometimes is like, I have these issues and then I'm thinking, I think I'm actively avoiding this thing because I think that it's so easy and my brain's almost telling me, don't do that thing because it's so hard.
Because if it were really that easy, more people would do it. So why aren't more people doing it? Is it like a trick? Like, oh, well, then it must actually not be that easy.
Quite literally. And it's almost like it's just so weird. It doesn't even make sense. I don't even want to say it. It's almost like, would I rather suffer actually? Like, do I actually want to suffer? Because if I know that it's that easy, like, why wouldn't I just do it? It's almost like I don't want to do it because I don't want to find out that, it was that easy this whole time and now I'm good. And now I can breathe. But
do you mean being confronted with the idea that you have faced however long, years, months, weeks of feeling down or isolated or whatever, and the solution was just, hey, do you want to grab a coffee tomorrow?
Yeah. And I think that maybe it's almost like I'd rather live with not knowing than live with the regret that would come with knowing. This whole time that it was actually, it was your phone, dude. It was getting off your phone. It was chucking your phone out the window.
Right.
And you didn't do it. And so now this whole time you spent wondering, and it's okay to wonder because, you'll never know and that's okay. But like to know might be more terrifying, which is not true. I know that. I know that in my heart of hearts that's not true. But my brain is telling me, no, I don't think we want to know. So like, let's leave it at that. But maybe I'm getting too far out ahead, but I think that you're right. I think that it is as easy as inviting somebody over for dinner. And I'm also wondering, you and your team, how big is this team? How many people, not including all of your sponsors, but how many people did it require to create the event that happened that we went to?
To set a mile-long table.
Yeah.
How many people are we talking?
It was a core team of about 3 people.
Oh, seriously?
And then a few very key partners, our catering partners, professionals that have done this for a long time.
You said something in the hallway, and I can't remember what exactly we were talking about, but you said, and I've been thinking about this for this episode. I actually have it written down. It was just all of this work, and it was one day, and now it's already over.
Right.
Do you think that it sometimes just takes that one moment, or do you think, shit, like I wish we could do this every week because like how much momentum can someone really gain from one
Right.
afternoon, one moment, because that moment's gone.
Right.
You know, like what do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a few reasons we do the big event. And look, at if you set a table for 3,400 people or 2 people, it's worth it. I tell our team, like, it doesn't matter how many people show up. If one other human being shows up at that table, is worth it. 100%. So we're also wanting to tell a different story in our culture, a different narrative. We need counter narratives because the swimming upstream against the mainstream narratives, especially those that we're hearing today, which is all us versus them, which is really sad. So that's one. And then the other narrative is consume, right? That'll fulfill. So when people see video or a drone footage or a news report on a mile-long table, by the way, we didn't fill it. We had 3,500 people there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's a lot of people.
But someone set a mile-long table for the Mile High City, which is a great story. If you give 2 feet per person, you get 5,280 people. That's a beautiful story. And we hear all the time, hey, I haven't been to one of your tables, but this is the first thing that's given me hope that there is a way to move forward in our nation. Like somebody is doing something.
Right.
And that's not Tim. That's the people who went before me. It's Carrie who showed me the table 11 years ago. It's the ancients. It's our ancestors that were forced to do work around the table. And before that, it was the neighbors that came around the fire, right? And the villagers that shared fires to stay warm. So like, this is nothing new. We are reclaiming something that is ancient and that is reflected in the heart of every culture, every society, every ritual, every celebration is the table. So we're telling a different story of there is a way to move forward. So is it worth it to do a huge table? Absolutely. Real connections were made. Some guy walked up to me. He's like, hey, do you remember me? I'm like, nope. We went to high school together. I'm like, well, I'm going to ask you a question. Were we friends? I feel like an old person of like, tell me, what was I like back then? But that was beautiful. That was reconnection. And then there were this woman, friend of mine, Megan, she has a nonprofit in Africa. She just sat at a random table. It just so happens that 10 Africans that she doesn't know who live in Denver sat at her table.
Wow.
Damn.
This happens all day, guys.
Yeah.
My favorite story is we had a couple meet at a table 2 years ago in City Park, fell in love, got married, had a baby.
Wow.
And now I've required them to name the baby something table last name. First name, table, last name. No. She just emailed me and she's like, because of you, we have a beautiful 2-year-old toddler running around the house.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Here's what that tells me, Tim, is Elliot and I had this question prep that was like, okay, would you rather set a table for 5 people in your living room or set a mile-long table? Because you don't get to connect with 3,000 people. And what this tells me is it's not about me. If I set the table, it's not about me. And that's back to this idea that a high tide raises all boats. If I see the water running up and I'm not necessarily on the tide, that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's pretty incredible. Maybe somebody that we invite to a dinner will connect and make a really meaningful connection, even if we didn't have the opportunity to connect deeply with them.
Well, that's leadership. The value that you can bring to someone's life. We're talking about people's lives. Not to get super dramatic. We just know a friend of our family just committed suicide.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
So do we believe that it's enough to invite someone? The risk that it's going to take, the fear, is it worth getting over that for half a second to invite someone to the table? I guarantee you will be so fulfilled when you start hearing stories of the people that connected at your table in your apartment. So it is a place of service, but there is so much richness that you're going to get out of this
Yeah.
and joy that you're going to get out of simply creating a place where people can connect.
We kind of started talking about this in the hall. Maybe this is where you're going, Elliot, is the idea of detach from the outcome. If I have this really strong expectation that I'm holding on very tightly to of the outcome of this particular event or dinner or invitation or gathering of other people,
Yes.
I'm actually disabling myself from enjoying the moment.
Right.
And sometimes we get this way with the show, which is, are people even really listening? I mean, yes, we can see the numbers. People are listening.
Sure.
But when people reach out and say, oh my gosh, I listened to this episode on this and it inspired me
Right.
to go do this
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
How many moments like that are happening that we know
You will
absolutely
never,
nothing about?
you will never know about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite part about life and I just have to come to accept it. You know, like speaking of the event that we put on, and I was like, well, did it matter? Like, did anybody glean anything from it? Did anybody get anything from it? Is anybody's life better even for that moment? I'm sure the answer is yes, but for some reason, because I can't see it, it must be ego because I can't see it, even though my subconscious knows that something great happened, right? Like somewhere something happened that was good, but because I can't see it, because I'm not God, because I'm not omniscient, and I can't see all of these webs connecting and then it going out further and further.
Right.
It's almost like my brain's like, oh, I'd rather not do it because I can't see it. And that's such a terrible reason not to do something,
We're a performance based society.
Totally.
So we're looking at the analytics,
Yeah.
right? What was the outcome? What was the performance? What was the value? What's the ROI?
Yeah.
That's the oxygen we breathe in America, in our society, right?
Yeah.
So the part of the performance, I would imagine, Elliot, is, is my apartment performing? Is this creating an enjoyable experience for other people? Like, I want to send out a survey after people, how did the food rate? Was the bathroom clean?
Yeah.
How did you
Would you return?
nonsense? But we're in that culture. So how do we, yes, that's my favorite concept is our only job is to set the table. I cannot control what happens at the table. Are people maybe some people have a lackluster moment, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. But they were at the table. So part of this is this abundance versus scarcity worldview.
Sure.
So again, not to keep beating our country to a pulp, but most of us, when our feet hit the floor in the morning, are entering a world of scarcity. There's not enough time. There's not enough resources. There's not enough money. I'm not enough, right? So guess what the world we experience is? A world of scarcity, but a world of trying to control. Okay, so I'm going to set a table. It's going to be perfect. My carpet's going to be clean, and we're going to have the perfect food. We're going to have the perfect questions. We're going to have the perfect experience. That actually creates separation instead of a world of abundance and embracing mystery of like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to set the table anyway. That's a scary place to be because it fundamentally means we're not in control.
Yeah.
And we like to be in control.
Oh, I love to be in control.
Let's just admit it, Sam.
I love it.
I do too.
Things that I'm hearing coming out of this are,
Yeah.
it is that simple, even if it sounds like a trick. So knock on your neighbor's door, send that invitation, share a meal with maybe somebody that you don't know.
Right.
Or cross-pollinate your friend group. Sometimes that feels weird, but what might happen?
Yeah.
What's the mystery if we
Yeah.
all come together in the same space at the same time?
Right.
And maybe prep a couple of questions ahead of time.
Who would have thought that inviting a group of people to eat together would be like the most countercultural, radical thing you could do?
Yeah.
But it is, especially in this world of like, you better have my political preference and opinion or you're not even a human being. So yes, it's simple and it's one of the hardest things to do in our current culture. But we have to, I don't really like this saying, but fake it till you make it. Would you just
So real, though.
would you just believe it? Or you don't even have to believe it. Just try it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be dinner at your house. Like invite a coworker to eat lunch together. Like I know we're hybrid, but when you're in the office together, like just little baby steps.
Yeah.
Your roommate, like my roommate and I we barely look at each other. We're on our phones, we're out the door, we're cooking fast food, whatever. So it doesn't have to be an elaborate thing, but trust us, trust me that this is both the means and the way to get where we want to go.
Yeah.
And that is meaningful relationship where we're sitting around telling our stories. And the more vulnerable, the more real. You can do this over McDonald's. Doesn't really matter. Or a steak. It leads to the place we want to go.
Right. Okay, Tim, leave us with a few of your favorite questions.
Oh boy.
Or just your favorite, your favorite question.
It could be 3. You gave us one already. A meal from your
my
childhood.
favorite. Maybe, yeah. That is by far. Share about a memorable meal from your childhood. I've seen, like most people have never been asked that question.
Yeah.
And you know how we love origin stories? I don't know if you guys are superhero film. I'm not, but we love the origin story. So
Yeah.
Can you imagine making someone feel like that's what that question is?
Yeah.
Like who are you? Basically, who are you? So that's number 1. Number 2, I have so many. I'm stealing this from my buddy Hanson, but who are you becoming?
That's a good one.
Who are you becoming?
That's a good one.
That's a little deeper. That
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Number 3, if love told you who you were, what would love say?
Ugh, that's a poem.
Damn. That's so real.
Those are the big guns. But when we ask that question, you just see tears
Yeah.
immediately in people's eyes. So if I'm willing to share first about that, of like, if I'm honest, so much of this is about being honest. So when I answer that question, I confess. I tell the truth that most of the time I think I'm unlovable. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not worthy of connection or love. But if love told me who I am, that foremost, I am so beloved. I am so loved. And I'm a table setter. And I'm a storyteller. And when people see me doing that, modeling that, it opens it up in them.
Yeah.